The gruff voice reeked of alcohol and arrogance. It came from a hulking biker wearing a road vulture's jacket, looming over an elderly man sitting quietly in the corner. Terry Harmon, 78, lifted his water glass with deliberate calm. His spotted hands didn't tremble as he studied the condensation sliding down the glass. The Salty Dog Tavern was a dump neon lights flickering over grime and stale liquor, but it was his refuge. "Hey, old man, I'm talking to you," the biker Scab snapped, slamming his palms on the table. "We own this place. Outsiders aren't welcome." He nodded at Terry's cane. Terry finally looked up, pale blue eyes calm, but unreadable. "I've been coming here longer than you've owned that jacket," he rasped. Scab sneered and knocked the cane to the floor. "Pick it up, Grandpor. Need a nurse?" Laughter erupted around them. Only Maria, the bartender, kept her eyes on Terry. Scrubbing a glass too hard, Terry bent with effort, his scarred leg throbbing, then rose again with quiet dignity. Scab grinned, mistaking struggle for weakness. "Pathetic," he jeered. "Anyone wanting peace has a right to a drink," Terry replied evenly. He'd survived worse than bar bullies' jungle ambushes, frozen nights, brothers dying beside him. Scab's words were nothing. But Scab, insulted by the lack of fear, wanted a reaction. He grabbed Terry's shirt. "What are you hiding, old man?" "Medical tubes," he mocked. "Stop," Terry ordered softly. The authority in his tone froze the air. Scab roared and ripped the shirt open, buttons scattering. The room fell silent. On Terry's arm was a faded tattoo, an eagle, clutching an anchor, trident, and pistol. A seal trident. The gang leader blinked, confused but uneasy. For Terry, the sight of it pulled him decades back to a humid tent in Southeast Asia. A needle biting his skin as young men beside him laughed and bonded. The ink wasn't decoration, it was a vow. The memory vanished. Scab smirked. "That fake? You think you're tough?" He jabbed the tattoo with a dirty finger. Maria froze behind the bar. That insult was the line. Years ago, Terry had given her a small card. "If I'm ever in real danger," he'd said, "call this number. Don't call the cops." She'd thought it the rambling of an old veteran, but tonight felt different. She slipped into the back room, trembling with fury. From the register, she pulled the card and dialed. A cold male voice answered, "Operations." "This is Maria at the Salty Dog. It's about Terry Harmon," she whispered. A pause. Then, "Is he safe?" "No, a biker gang's hurting him. They tore his shirt." "Copy that," the voice replied, suddenly sharp. "Help is on the way. Stay safe." She heard quiet commands in the background, words she didn't understand. "Initiate code Trident. Active asset under duress. Deploy QRF, miles away, in a Naval Special Operations Center." Master Chief Ryan Thompson leapt to his feet. "Sir, code Trident. The subject is Master Chief Harmon." Commander Evans froze mid-report. The name sent a jolt through the room. Terry Harmon wasn't just a veteran. He was a founding SEAL, one of the original's location. Evans demanded the Salty Dog Tavern, Route 4, civilian threat, multiple assailants. Evans's eyes hardened. "Mobilize the quick reaction force. Vehicles moving in 5 minutes." Back at the bar, Scab was dragging Terry toward the exit. "You're coming with us, old man." Terry didn't resist, only looked at him with weary disappointment. Then came the low growl of vengeance. The tavern windows filled with blinding white light. Outside, 3 black SUVs screeched to a stop, doors opening in perfect sync. 12 men in Navy tactical gear poured out, silent, disciplined, terrifyingly precise. Within seconds, they surrounded the entrance. Evans entered, last tall, sharp-eyed, radiating command. He stopped before Scab and Terry, without looking at the biker. "Master Chief Harmon." "Master Chief Harmon," he said with reverence. "Lieutenant Commander Evans, we received your distress call. Are you all right, sir?" Scab's hands fell from Terry's arm as if burned. "I'm fine," Terry said quietly. "Just a misunderstanding." Evans turned to the gang, his tone now cold as steel. "Master Chief Terrence Harmon, enlisted in 1961. one of the first Navy SEALs. Fought in Vietnam. Navy Cross, 2 silver stars, 4 bronze with valor, 3 purple hearts. The bikers shrank, their arrogance dissolving. Evans continued, voice low and lethal. That mark you mocked is the SEAL Trident. He earned it through pain and sacrifice so you could act like fools in a free country he helped defend. Evans's words hung heavy in the air. The room was silent, except for the faint hum of the jukebox, frozen mid-song. Maria stood behind the bar, tears streaming down her cheeks. The bikers who had been laughing minutes ago now, like frightened boys. Evans fixed his glare on Scab. You laid hands on a living legend. You tore his uniform. You disgraced his service. Do you understand what that means? Scab couldn't speak. His face had gone chalk white, his throat working soundlessly. He finally looked at Terry. Seeing him not as an old man, but as someone carved from stone and fire, Terry broke the silence, his voice rough but calm. The medals, the stories there, just symbols, he said. What matters is what you do when nobody's watching. That tattoo isn't pride, it's a promise to remember the ones who didn't make it home. He looked at Scab with quiet compassion, not anger. Respect can't be taken. You give it freely, or you'll never have it. For a moment, his mind slipped back to a battlefield decades ago, the stench of mud and blood, the sound of mortar in the distance. He remembered dragging his radio operator through the dirt, his shattered leg leaving a crimson trail. That limp Scab mocked wasn't weakness, it was the cost of someone else's life. The wail of sirens broke the trance. Local deputies arrived, wide-eyed at the sight before them, heavily armed SEALs standing silent around terrified bikers. Evans turned toward them calmly. They're yours, he said simply. The SEALs gave their statements, then vanished as swiftly as they had come, their SUVs melting into the night. Scab and his gang were arrested, their swagger gone. Word spread fast through the biker network. The road vultures, national leadership, embarrassed and furious, expelled the entire local chapter. No one wanted to be associated with the men who'd attacked a Navy SEAL Master Chief. Weeks passed. The salty dog returned to its quiet rhythm. Maria kept Terry's corner table polished and his glass full. He still came every few evenings, always in a clean flannel shirt. One gray afternoon, Terry stepped outside and noticed a man sweeping the grocery parking lot next door. It was Scab. He looked smaller, gaunt, stripped of the bravado that once filled the bar. When their eyes met, Scab froze. Shame and fear flickered across his face before he gave a stiff, hesitant nod and apology without words. Terry studied him for a long moment, then raised his hand and returned the nod. No anger, just acknowledgement and forgiveness. He climbed into his old pickup, the engine coughing to life, and drove away slowly. The light caught his faded trident tattoo, glinting like a quiet reminder of everything he had survived and everything he still stood for, inside the tavern. Maria watched him go, her heart heavy with pride. The world would never know the man who sat quietly at her bar, the legend who had once carried brothers through hell and lived to tell no one about it. But she knew, and that was enough.